What's going on, everybody? I'm Andrew Patrick, and this is For the Record.
Live from New York City. Live from New York City.
Same thing as always, we have 5 stories right here. So let's not waste any more time and let's get started. The long ongoing saga of the Cal Harris trial finally came to an end yesterday as Cal Harris was found not guilty of second-degree murder of his wife Michelle, who was killed in September 2001. The decision came at 2:15 p.m. by Judge Richard Mott, ending the 4th trial of this case, which started on March 31st. However, this has been a saga over 10 years in the making, as prosecutors have argued that Harris struck Michelle when she arrived at home on 9/11, later getting rid of the body and the weapon. Harris first got charged with second-degree murder in 2005, and 2 previous guilty verdicts in Tioga County were overturned. The 3rd trial, which was at Schoharie, was declared a mistrial, leading to this case where Harris made Judge Mott the sole decider of his fate. The body of Cal Harris's wife, on the other hand, has still not been found over these years. Alright, this has kind of been a big story right around this area for quite some time now, and to see it hopefully get some resolution at least for years or so, it's good, but at the same time I kind of have questions as to why Mr. Harris himself wants to go right ahead and have his judge be the sole proprietor of what happens to him. In all honesty, I don't really have that strong of an opinion. It does seem a little mysterious that the wife's body has not been found after all these years, and I really just don't know if this is really the end of it, or if there's going to be another trial, which will probably make this saga continue on and on and on for years and years and years to come. But it's good to see that Mr. Harris can at least be free for a little bit, but at the same time, who knows how much of a paper trail or how much dirt he's leaving behind, considering of the controversy of this whole entire story has taken place. So that's all I really got to say about that. And we'll keep on going to our next story, which goes to a bit of scandal. As controversy has arrived at the hands of Baylor University, as their president, Kenneth Starr, has been fired in the wake of a sex scandal that he's a part of. This has only been the tipping point of what has been apparent during Starr's tenure as president, as the school has been accused of failure to respond to rapes or sexual assaults reported by at least 6 women students from 2009 to 2016. Violence has also been apparent against women from Baylor's football teams, as 8 Baylor football alums have been accused of performing this act. Starr first came into prominence in the 1990s as one of the prosecutors in the Bill Clinton case, later becoming president of Baylor in 2010. The university has declined to comment at this time, but will expect an announcement of this matter on June 3rd. Okay, what is wrong with the... why? Just why? First things first, I never even knew who Kenneth Starr was, let alone that he had any connection with the Bill Clinton-Monica Lewinsky case. It's kind of a rare karma plot twist, don't you think? That a guy who was one of the main prosecutors of this case turns out to actually get his hand into the cookie jar a little bit one too many times. And it's really kind of hard to believe that some of the people that did accuse Bill Clinton of, committing adultery or whatnot, they somehow have gotten run amid of controversies of their own. So it's really just bad PR for Baylor, and it's really just a shameful thing for this guy to have done such a thing. And will this actually cause Baylor to clean up their act? I really don't know if that will be the case. That does not mean that it will officially clean everything up, but hopefully this is a step to the right direction, and hopefully Baylor takes the initial steps that need to be taken just so that we can go right ahead and see Baylor be a top-class organization instead of a organization facading itself as a top-class organization with a lot of skeletons in their closet that they need to clean up. So, and now, on to entertainment news. As a former contestant from the weight loss reality show The Biggest Loser is planning to sue the show for abuse. Suzanne Mendonca, who appeared on season 2 of the show, is prepared for a class action lawsuit against the show, saying that producers withheld water from contestants, forced them to overexercise, and disregard them when the camera stopped rolling, according to a report from TMZ. Mendonca is just one of the few of the former contestants that are disgruntled with the show, as many of them spoke to the New York Times to tell that they not only gained all of their weight back, but were encouraged by the producers to take drugs, starve themselves, and lie about how many pounds they shed. They also have had criticisms of Dr. Rob Huizenga and trainer host Bob Harper, with Harper being accused of giving contestants pills to enhance performance. And at this time, The Biggest Loser has not yet been renewed by NBC for an 18th season. Alright, this is kind of hitting a little bit close because I actually do watch The Biggest Loser. I actually have been somewhat inspired by The Biggest Loser when it first came on when I was a fat kid. It really made me kind of want to go right ahead and lose all this weight, and it didn't really take until late 2009 and pretty much the majority of 2010 to finally shed all the pounds that I have lost. With that being said, I have heard of stories before from The Biggest Loser for contestants that lost a ton of weight and gained it all back. So really, and with this light of news, why would you do this? I guess that's kind of the main reason why that all reality shows can go right ahead and just kick themselves the bucket. I mean, what in the world are you doing? You're causing these people to fucking die! What in the world is wrong with you? This is not okay. This is not making lives better, which is what your slogan is supposed to be on this show. And you go ahead and treat your contestants like this? Come on! I mean, seriously. And you know what? They have a right to complain about all of this. And really, for all the people at The Biggest Loser, they should be ashamed of themselves. They really should be ashamed of themselves for what they've done and what they have committed. And if this falls through, this is a huge hit on The Biggest Loser. And quite frankly, it's going to cause the likelihood of this being renewed to kind of be a little bit more difficult to make it convincing. Now don't get me wrong, it shows some amazing feats, it shows some amazing transformations, but has it really been into legitimacy? And it really makes you wonder at what cost has this come to? It's really just disheartening, and it's really, it'll kind of just make you mad if you really feel like that The Biggest Loser has really done this legitimately. Now granted, with what The Biggest Loser does, it's not what regular people do. It's for certain not for what I did when I lost 100 pounds in 10 months. And I managed to keep it off for about 6 years running. So there are ways outside of going to The Biggest Loser where people can lose weight. And really, we have to take initiative to ourselves before we ever really go into the last resort, especially if doing it for ourselves doesn't really pan out the best. So, all that being said, let's move on. And unfortunately, it has some sad news. And really, in other sports news, doctors in the University of Toronto and the Canadian Concussion Center have found present in the brain of late BMX star Dave Mirra a degenerative brain disease, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, otherwise known as CTE. This makes Mirra believed to be the first athlete to be diagnosed with CTE, which is linked to repeated head impacts and can lead to dire setbacks, as just so happened when Mirra, who died from a self-inflicted gun wound back in February, has been believed to have telltale signs of CTE leading to his suicide. Research remains underway of what stage he was in prior to his death. And here are my thoughts on this. It really is just sad that, something like this had caused the life of a man to cut his life way too short. mean, we saw this with Junior Seau, who died himself from a self-inflicted gun wound. And it just so happens that it really just doesn't go just strictly from football, which we know is more than likely to be linked into the CTEs and whatnot. And you can see how it's ruined people's lives, where they have dementia and everything else in between. And it just so happens that it's not just in football that it does it. It does it on pretty much any sport, including something that's, the extreme sports like DMX and all that. It's really just disheartening and sad, and hopefully with the estate of Dave Mirra, as well as anybody who has been linked to a CTE, please put in your time and effort to put in as much research as you can so that this can be avoided, where loved ones can still live longer than 41, which was the age of Dave Mirra when he committed suicide. And it's just very sad, and I just don't know what to say about it. I just hope that I won't have to deal with it with any of my future kids or anything like that, even if they take sports that are physically demanding to the body and the brain. So, now we move on to the world of politics. As in the political world, possible Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton has refused to debate with Bernie Sanders before the California primary on June 7th. This decision has made Bernie Sanders say that he is disappointed with the unwillingness to have a debate set up ahead of the primary, which is described by Sanders to be the largest and most important primary in the presidential nominating process. Sanders also wasn't surprised of the refusal, though, as given by the statement from Clinton's spokeswoman, saying that it's more important to campaign and meet directly with the voters in the state. I'm not believing that statement for a second. Clinton is afraid, because she knows that she is not as sincere or as trustworthy as president than is Bernie Sanders. And yes, this is me kind of showing a little bit of my political view, and I just want to bring that out. I am a Bernie Sanders supporter. I do not support Hillary Clinton. That does not mean I am a Republican, because I can't stand what in the world they're doing, and especially considering how they have Donald Trump as their nominee. It's a joke. It's an absolute sick joke for all of humanity who thinks, and for all humanity who just looks beyond the money signs and looks beyond who he is, because he is a big name. It's really just makes you sick, considering the fact that Trump wants to go right ahead and ban all Muslims and then build a wall and then force Mexico to buy it. How the hell are you going to get the money to do all this? How are you going to get all the money and not cause the deficit to rise in an unexpected rate that will make both of us scream at the top of our ears? And as for Clinton, while she is the lesser of two evils, which that I don't even want to believe, Clinton to me is not trustworthy. She seems fake to me. And in reality, considering that she does have a sizable lead on Bernie, she shouldn't really be head over heels and start thinking that, oh, I got the nomination already. I don't need to worry about Bernie Sanders. No, you still need to worry, because Bernie, like Obama did in 2008, could possibly make one hell of a rousing comeback, take that nomination from you, and you will wind up seceding to that nomination for Bernie. He ain't going anywhere, and I'm going to be rooting for him. And if Bernie Sanders does not get the nomination, I'm either going to write him in anyways, vote independent, or go right ahead and write in a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for president, because I don't trust the government or the president to go right ahead and make the decisions from me. If Trump is there, we might as well consider this the end of the world. If Hillary's there, I don't expect it to be better. I actually expect it to be worse. And even if Bernie is elected president, I'm kind of wondering, are all these promises going to come to tuition? Are all of these going to sincerely happen without him being stagnated or stymied by what we want and by what the government is trying to pass on? We all have to be considerable of our own actions, and we really shouldn't look at the higher-ups to do anything. We really should go right ahead and just worry about ourselves, start making the community better, then we can go right ahead and start thinking that, you know what, let's make this world a better place. Because it's really on us. We have the most power. We can do as much as we can to make this world a better place. We don't have to wait for a politician to tell us that. Alright, now that's it for the news. Now let's go into the wide world of sports for some scores that happened last night. Now here are some scores for Major League Baseball. The Nationals beat the Mets 7-4. Cubs whitewashed the Cardinals 12-3. The Brewers squeaked by the Braves 2-1. And the Yankees make it 6 wins in a row, shutting out the Blue Jays 6-0. And now for the score from the lone NBA Conference Finals game last night as the Oklahoma City Thunder shocked the world by taking a commanding 3-1 series lead over the defending champion Golden State Warriors as they blew them out 118-94 behind Russell Westbrook's triple-double effort going 36, 11, and 11. As he was one of the 6 Thunder players in double figures. This marks the first time all season long that the Warriors lost 2 consecutive games, something they haven't done since last year's NBA Finals. Game 5 will be aired at 9 Thursday on TNT, and we'll see if the Oklahoma City Thunder can shock the world and defeat the winningest team in NBA season history of the Golden State Warriors. Or will we see the Golden State Warriors try to salvage their season and stay alive and force a Game 6? We'll see how it all unfolds in Game 5. And that will do it for this episode of For the Record. As always, leave a comment below and let me know what you think about this episode. If you have any suggestions on any stories that I might have missed covering on this episode, please leave them down below as well as any improvements that you think I might need to do. Also, go right ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and that's all there is to it. So on behalf of For the Record, I'm Andrew Patrick, and I am out. Stay real, everyone, and stay classy.
Wicked when I kick it, yeah, that's the ticket for the record.